G'day and welcome to my channel, and welcome to this video series on making electricity from wood. Right, so what's been happening with the gasifier? Well, not a lot. After the first test I ran into a few little problems. They've all been dealt with, so that's all fixed. So basically for the last month or so, this gasifier, it's been sitting here ready for its second test. The only thing that's stopping me from doing the second test is I just need a fresh supply of charcoal. Yeah, every time I go to make some charcoal, it seems it's either too wet or too windy. And this morning is no different. It's been raining for most of the morning. So the timber lying on the ground that I was actually going to be using for making charcoal, that's all wet now. So I'll have to wait another week or so. So I thought, just to keep things going, I'll upload this video and we'll do the second test in the next video. So I think we'll go back to late February, just after the first test, and we'll take it from there, and I'll see you at the end of this video. So I'm just doing a partial teardown of the gasifier after the first test. Oh mate, I'm finding tar everywhere. The thing wouldn't run hot for me, and so I'll produce more tar than gas, that's for sure. And that's just looking inside the blowers, and that looks disgusting. So I just dropped out the agitator drive, just trying to see if I can spot the obvious, and immediately, I don't know if you can see that, I can't see the set screw. See, the set screw should be poking out through there. So either the set screws come loose, or the tip of the set screw has been worn off. Let's have a quick look. Oh yeah. This may be a little bit difficult to see, but the tip of the set screw has definitely been worn. So it's been spinning around on the shaft. Okay, that's interesting. Now something I just noticed is this screw here appears to be very loose. So I'm just wondering, when I reassembled the gasifier, did I forget to tighten that up? Maybe I did. Maybe this is the cause of it all. You see, the other thing I've got to watch out for too is there enough clearance between the shaft and the bronze bushing? If not, when things get hot, would it maybe have seized? Don't know. Although I don't think the bottom bush here would have gotten too hot, it being at the bottom of the gasifier. But I guess if it's going to seize anywhere, my guess is it would be where the bush goes through the grate. So that will get pretty hot. If I was going to drill any of the bushes out, I'd say that would be the one I would start with. But I guess I shouldn't do too many things. I should just do one thing at a time so I know what the problem was. So I think what I might do is I might just tear this down a bit, see what else I find. So I've just dropped the grate just so I can get to the set screw of the agitator. And the good news is that the agitator hasn't slipped on the shaft. So that's good at least. Ugh, bloody dust everywhere, I'll tell you. Oh, bloody tar. It's everywhere. Come on. Oh, there we go. It's out. Hooray. So here's our agitator. That's actually looking quite good. Not as shiny as last time we saw it, but yeah, that stood up well. Okay, so here's the agitator shaft. So, I'll wipe the tar off that. Okay, so where the set screw from the agitator goes, that goes onto this rebate here, and that hasn't slipped. So obviously that seems to be the way to go. Okay, so here's that bit of hole for the floor scraper. Now, with this being chrome steel, I just cannot tell whether it's been spinning on it or not. It's hard to tell. So we'll have a look at the other bottom, the one that goes down to the gearbox to the... that's definitely been spinning, you can see that. That's amazing, eh? I thought, with it being down in that hole, I'm so surprised it's spun. So here's the floor scraper. So I just want to find out, did it spin on the shaft? It did. The point of that set screw has been rounded off. It would appear that drilling these holes, having the set screw sitting in these holes, doesn't work. But yet doing that seems to work just fine. So I'm just going to grind a couple of flat sections on the shaft. Now, since I don't have a milling machine or lathe or anything fancy like that, I'm just going to attempt to do it with an angle grinder. It's far from perfect, but it should make quite an improvement over the dimples. Well, hopefully that's the shaft taken care of. So on the coupling end, I've put in an M8 socket cap head screw, and so we've gone up from M5 to M8. So that's a huge step up. So that should be able to take quite a bit of torque. And then on the floor scrapers, we've gone from M6 to M8. So yeah, hopefully that should take care of that. I'm just having a go at screening the fuel here. I just wanted to see what the outcome was. What I'm using as a screen here is just a bit of Avery mesh. I did have a go at using some of this really fine stuff, and it's got an opening of 6mm, so I think that's 1/4 inch. And I think that was just too fine. It really wasn't screening much out. I'll show you. And it needs to be said, this is fairly fine wood chip in this tub. So you have a look at that. Yeah, you still end up with quite a lot of fine fuel, so that's obviously too fine. So that's why I'm just having a go at this Avery mesh here, and that's got an opening of 12mm, so 1/2 inch, and that actually seems to do a fairly decent job. So I'll just show you. We'll throw some stuff on. So what though, it doesn't leave much behind. So I just went through this whole tub here, and this is the end result. I've got to say, I'm a little bit surprised. It doesn't look too good, does it? Really, the recovery rate here is pretty poor. So just looking at the two, I reckon it'd be I'd be lucky if it's 20%. So the stuff that got screened out, yes, there's no doubt about it. It is quite fine. There's a lot of sawdust in that, but most of them are, you know, chips a fair bit smaller than 1/2 inch or 12mm. And then the stuff that didn't go through the screen, you end up with the stuff here, and that's actually not too bad. Actually, that's actually quite nice, and really, that's what you want. It's a bit of a mix. There's still some small stuff that managed not to get through, but yeah, that's not looking too bad. So I can use that, but really, to do this, that's just not viable. It is way too much work for very little gain. So I thought, rather than chipping them and just wasting so much, why not just chop them? And so we end up with small rounds. As things stand now, I don't have anything really to chop these with, but I'm just going to have a go with this. This is a banana knife. Now obviously this is not really practical, but anyway, I just want to give it a go, see how we go. Oh, here we go. What could possibly go wrong? Oh. Come on. watch your fingers. It's getting a bit small now. That'll do. This one's a bit bigger. Come on. This is going to take forever. This is clearly not the way to go. So quite clearly I need to build some sort of contraption, a lumber chopper or wood chopper. So I just want to show you why I'm going for the smaller branches and a smaller fuel. Obviously it's a lot easier to process. So this pile of timber you see here, that's just from a bit of a cleanup near the house. So yeah, there's quite a lot of timber there, and that is all seasoned hardwood, and some of it is quite old. And I tell you mate, it is rock hard. Like, you got no idea just how bloody hard that is, and it's quite difficult to process. I'll be cutting that with a chainsaw and then splitting it on a hydraulic log splitter, and it's fantastic firewood. It would also make fantastic wood chips for a wood gasifier. There'd be quite a lot of energy content in it, but it's just too bloody difficult to process. And here's my firewood shed. It's almost empty. So I'm just going to show you the area that I cleaned up where all that timber came from. Although some of it did come from the front of our property, but most of it came from this slope just beneath me here. Actually down there along the driveway you can see there's still some parts of timber down there too. A lot of it is old, some of it is newer, and as we pan around here you can see I haven't been that way yet. Some of it is fairly fresh from the last couple of storms we've had. Some of it's been lying there a long time. Yeah, so it kind of makes sense to stick with this sort of fuel. We've got an absolute overabundance of branches like these scattered all over the property, and they just keep coming down. What normally happens is we collect these every now and then, we heave them into a pile and burn them, just to reduce the fuel load around here. So yeah, which is a bit of a waste, so what better way than turn these into electricity. Yeah, so if I can utilise these as a reliable wood gas fuel, that would be fantastic. They are just too good to waste. If I weren't going to be doing that, we'd just be feeding these through the wood chipper and they would end up as garden mulch. So yeah, so this is still plan A. It's always been plan A from the beginning. Let's have a look at the two different fuels. So over here you've got this green wood chip, and that's actually not too bad. That's actually quite decent now, I reckon. And then over here you got the chopped branches, and I reckon that's got to be it, eh? Because you know there's plenty of voids in between them. Because they're round, they're not going to settle down flat like the wood chip would. And not only that, doing it this way, there's actually less processing. So I reckon that has got to be the way to go. I ended up removing the old door rope seal from here because it just wasn't sealing properly. Like if you have a look at the hatch door here, you can see it's actually been leaking in quite a lot of air. Now obviously this sort of rope seal, it's fine for slow combustion stoves, where, well, it limits the amount of air coming in, hence the slow combustion. But obviously for a gasifier, yeah, I think it's just too leaky. A little while back I purchased this rubber seal for the filter. That's the filter here, and the idea there was that was just going to be glued to here like so. Well, I won't be needing a filter for a while because, well, thus far I've got nothing to filter. I'm not exactly intending filtering tar. So I might just, yeah, who knows, I might just try and use this. it should be okay. So I guess the question is, will the rubber seal be able to withstand the high temperature? Well, I guess when you look at it really, I don't think it's going to get too hot, because with this flange being external to the vessel, it's never going to get the real high temperatures that you would on the body. So I thought I might just do a bit of an experiment. I'm just going to apply a bit of heat to the underside of this piece of metal here, just to see how the rubber seal handles it. And obviously the rope seal, no worries, look at that. Not a problem. Let's see where we go here. Is it getting hot yet? Oh yeah, look at that. The water's beating off it, that's definitely hot. Oh yeah, that's definitely hot. So it seems to be holding out quite well. So we'll keep going. Alright, I think that'll do. Now, to be honest, I don't think it's ever going to get that hot. Yeah, that's quite hot now. Look at that. So I don't think the gasifier flange is ever going to get that hot. So I guess, did it melt? Not really. Okay. Well, that should do it then. The new gasket has been glued on, so I'm pretty much ready for the second test. So the only thing missing really is some fresh charcoal and some fuel. So then I thought, well, just to keep things going, maybe I could just get away with buying a pair of loppers. But they will need to be half decent, because they would be chopping or lopping seasoned hardwood. But really, I don't really need a pair of loppers around here, because I've got a chainsaw. And now I thought, well, why not buy a pair of hand shearers? Because that's something I've been wanting for a while. So I thought, well, maybe they can get me out of trouble for the time being, until I come up with something more suitable and something a little bit more permanent. So I went and bought these 300mm hand shear. I've been wanting one like this for quite a while. It's a very handy tool in the workshop. Look at that, beautiful. So there you go, what a beauty, eh? Oh. Now, I know this looks a bit impractical, but I just couldn't justify spending $100 on a pair of loppers when this cost me $200. I bought this on sale. So in the scheme of things, really, you know, if I'd spent $100 on a pair of loppers, which I really don't need, I think, yeah, this is the way to go. This is just to keep things going until I come up with something more practical and permanent. There you go, well, welcome back. So here's the end result from processing that fuel. So here we got a batch that's ready to be turned into charcoal. So I just need the right sort of day, minimal wind or dry. Then also for running the gasifier, I've just got this type of fuel here. It's nice and chunky. I really think this should work quite well. So yeah, can't wait to give it a go. In the meantime, I've also been doing a bit of work on the filter. But last night I ran out of mic gas, so sometime next week I'll have to go for a run into Total Tools and exchange this bottle. Yeah, so in the meantime, I'm pressing on with the filter. That's progressing quite well. I'm actually getting ready to fit it in, just so I can see how it fits in with the pipe work and so forth, so forth. So I'm hoping next week to make a batch of charcoal, and then I'm going to fit in the second test, hopefully within the next couple of weeks or so. Rightio, well, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to upload this video now, just to keep things going. So, until next time, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video for the second test. Alright, cheers guys, catch you later.